$2,000. That is the price of a decent used car. That is what a lot of people spend on a vacation they will forget in 6 months. That is less than 1 month's rent in most American cities right now. And if you spend it correctly, with knowledge instead of impulse, with strategy instead of brand loyalty, $2,000 is enough to build a functional, reliable, legally owned, defensive firearm setup that will serve you for decades. This is not about going to war. It is the same logic that makes you keep a fire extinguisher in your kitchen, even though your house has never burned down. You prepare for the thing you hope never happens. You build the capability and then you pray you never need it. That is what this video is, a complete, honest, practical breakdown of how to spend $2,000 on a defensive firearm setup. What to buy first, what to buy second, how to prioritize when money is a real constraint, what the expensive stuff actually gives you that the budget stuff does not, and where the budget stuff is genuinely good enough that spending more would be pure vanity. We are going to go through this systematically, tier by tier, category by category. By the time this video is over, you will have a shopping list in your head. And every single item on that list will be legal, responsible, and built around the principle that a system you can actually afford to train with will always beat an expensive system you cannot. Let us start at the beginning. Chapter 1. The philosophy before the purchase. Before we talk about any specific firearm or any specific piece of gear, we need to talk about how people get this wrong. Because most people get this wrong. The most common mistake is the best gun first mistake. Someone watches a few YouTube videos, they decide they need a Geisele-equipped Daniel Defense with a Night Force scope and a full Cry precision kit, and then they spend $3,700 on a rifle they have no idea how to run and $0 on training. That rifle will sit in a safe, looking impressive while its owner remains completely unprepared for any real situation. The second most common mistake is the one-gun mistake. One pistol, maybe 500 rounds of ammunition, no redundancy, no layered capability. The logic seems reasonable until you understand that a defensive setup is a system, not an object. A single point of failure is not a system. It is a liability with a trigger. The third mistake is buying in the wrong order. People buy the rifle before the handgun. They buy the optic before they buy training. They buy the suppressor before they buy a spare magazine. Order matters enormously when money is a real constraint. The philosophy behind this entire video is simple. It can be stated in one sentence. Build the broadest functional capability you can afford with the money you have right now. That means the handgun comes before the rifle in most real-world defensive scenarios, and therefore in your purchasing order. That means ammunition matters as much as the firearm itself, because an empty gun is a hammer. That means training is part of the budget, not something you do after the budget is spent. And that means quality at the component level matters more than brand prestige at the shelf level. Everything we talk about in this video is built around that sentence. Broadest functional capability, money you have right now. Let us also talk quickly about legality because this is not optional. Every purchase in this video assumes you are a legal adult in the United States who can pass a standard background check. Laws vary significantly by state. California, New York, New Jersey, Illinois, Massachusetts, and several others have restrictions on magazine capacity and rifle configuration. You are responsible for knowing the laws in your location. Nothing here is legal advice. With that clearly established, let us build a system. Chapter 2. Tier 1. The handgun. The handgun comes first. Always. This is the one that surprises people. If someone tells you to buy the rifle before the handgun, they are thinking about the range. They are not thinking about your life. The handgun is with you in your car. The handgun is in your nightstand. The handgun is the weapon you reach for in the first 10 seconds of any emergency, before you have time to access a long gun, before you have time to do anything except react. The handgun is your constant. The rifle is your deliberate. So the handgun comes first, and for a budget build, there is one name that dominates the conversation more than any other. The Smith & Wesson M and P9 Shield Plus. Street price runs between $470 and $520, depending on where you buy it. For that money, you get a slim, reliable, striker-fired 9mm pistol with a 13-round extended magazine and a 10-round flush-fit magazine. It has a clean trigger, a manageable grip, real night sights on the base model if you buy the Performance Center variant for about $50 more, and a track record of reliability that spans hundreds of thousands of rounds across documented testing. Why 9mm? Because the FBI concluded in 2014 that modern 9mm defensive ammunition performs equivalently to 40 Smith & Wesson and 45 ACP in terminal ballistics, while offering significantly higher capacity and meaningfully less recoil. That conclusion has not changed. Choosing 9mm is not a compromise. It is the correct decision based on current ballistic science. The Shield Plus is not the only answer. The Sig Sauer P365 at around $450 is arguably more compact with comparable capacity and is worth serious consideration. The Glock 48 MOS at around $500 is another legitimate option in this price range. But the Shield Plus consistently hits the reliability and ergonomics marks at a price that leaves room in the budget for everything else that matters. Buy 2 magazines beyond what comes in the box. For the Shield Plus, Quality Factory Pro Mag or Shield Plus OEM magazines run $20 to $30 each. Do not skip this. A single magazine is a mechanical device that will eventually fail, and you do not want to discover that failure at the wrong moment. Handgun budget. Approximately $550 including pistol and extra magazines. Chapter 3. Tier 2. The Rifle. Now the rifle. The AR-15 platform is the correct answer here because it is the most widely serviced, most parts accessible, most training-supported centerfire rifle on the American civilian market. Parts and trained armorers are available in every state. Ammunition is abundant. Magazines are interchangeable and cheap. When you buy into the AR-15, you are buying into an ecosystem. The question at this budget level is not which platform. The question is which manufacturer. At the under $600 tier, 3 names deserve serious attention. Palmetto State Armory produces a solid AR-15 lineup with configurations running between $400 and $580. Their quality control has improved substantially in the last 5 years, and the PSA GF3 in particular is considered a genuine entry-level value by most serious reviewers. Ruger makes the AR-556, which retails consistently around $500 to $530 and has a strong reputation for reliability out of the box. Many instructors use the AR-556 as their benchmark for what a quality budget AR should look like. For this budget build, the Ruger AR-556 is the recommendation. $530, 16-inch barrel, direct impingement operation, mil-spec trigger that you will eventually want to upgrade, but that will function reliably for years, and a reputation that has been established through hundreds of thousands of documented rounds across civilian and professional testing environments. The caliber is 5.56 NATO, which will also safely chamber and fire .223 Remington. The 5.56 NATO is the standard. Every accessory, every magazine, every ammunition type you will encounter is designed around it. This is not the time for novelty calibers. Buy 4 magazines immediately. The PMAG Gen M3 from Magpul is the magazine standard for this platform. PMAG 30s run $12 to $14 each. They feed reliably, they do not crack in cold weather, and they have documented reliability across millions of rounds of military and civilian testing. Buy 4. That is $56. Rifle budget. Approximately $530 for the rifle plus $56 for magazines. Total approximately $586. Chapter 4. Tier 3. Optics. You will hear 2 schools of thought on optics. The first says shoot iron sights until you are proficient, then add a red dot. The logic is sound. If you cannot shoot iron sights accurately, a red dot will not fix your fundamentals. The second says that for a defensive tool, a red dot makes target acquisition faster under stress and in low light, and should be prioritized immediately. The correct path at this budget level is somewhere in between. Buy the red dot now, shoot iron sights in conjunction with it, and build proficiency on both. The Holosun 403C or the Holosun HS510C are the clear answers at this price point. The Holosun 403C, a compact tube-style red dot, runs approximately $180 to $200. It has a solar panel backup, a 2 and 63 MOA reticle option, and documented reliability that competes seriously with Aimpoint products at 3 to 4 times the price. Battery life on a standard CR2032 is rated at 50,000 hours on the medium setting. That is not a misprint. 50,000 hours. The Holosun HS510C, an open reflex style optic, runs around $220 and offers a slightly faster target acquisition experience due to the open window, at a minor cost in durability protection. For a budget build, the 403C is the call. It is more durable than the open reflex. It co-witnesses with most low-profile mounts, and it has a track record that has earned genuine respect in communities that are extraordinarily skeptical of budget optics. Mount the optic on a standard Picatinny or M-Lock forward rail with an absolute co-witness mount. Included with most budget uppers or available as an add-on for $20 to $30. Optics budget, approximately $200. Chapter 5. Tier 4. Ammunition. People drastically underestimate this category. The firearm is the delivery system. Ammunition is what actually does the work. And ammunition in a budget build is not an afterthought. It is a co-equal priority with the firearms themselves. There are 2 categories of ammunition you need to think about separately: training ammunition and defensive ammunition. Training ammunition is what you shoot at the range to build skills. For 9mm, Federal American Eagle 115 grain FMJ runs approximately $20 to $25 per 50 rounds. For 5.56 NATO, Federal American Eagle 55 grain or 62 grain FMJ runs approximately $40 to $50 per 100. Plan for 500 rounds of each for the initial build budget. Training ammunition budget, approximately $150 to $180
got some nice weight to it.
Good lockup on the upper receiver, M-lock all around it. This is also a very reliable rifle. We've shot it an absolute ton. It's been a mainstay for quite some time. Like I said, we've done a review on it over a year ago. The Stag Tactical is really sleek, really clean. This one itself, it does lack, in my opinion, on the trigger for that price point. It just has a normal mil-spec trigger.
50 Federal HST runs approximately $40 to $50.
Got some nice weight
You
to it.
want it
Good lockup on the upper receiver.
For 5.56 NATO Federal Fusion, 62 grain soft point or Federal Gold Medal, 69 grain Sierra Match King runs approximately $1 to $2 per round. Load 1 magazine of defensive ammunition and rotate it annually. Defensive ammunition budget, approximately $150 for both platforms. Total ammunition budget, approximately $300 to $330. Chapter 6. Tier 5. Lights and sighting systems. This is the category that separates a firearm from a defensive tool in real-world conditions. Think about when defensive situations actually occur. They occur at night. They occur in low light. They occur when your adrenaline is high and your visual acuity is compromised by stress. In those conditions, the ability to positively identify what you are looking at before you make a decision is not optional. It is the difference between a lawful defensive act and a tragedy. You need a weapon light on both platforms. For the handgun, the Streamlight TLR, 1HL runs approximately $115 to $130 and produces 1,000 lumens with a 4-hour runtime on 2CR123A batteries. It is compact enough for the Shield Plus without excessive printing, and it has a documented reputation for surviving the kind of abuse that defensive tools actually experience. For the rifle, the Streamlight ProTac Rail Mount HLX runs approximately $110 to $130 and produces 1,000 lumens with a strobe function. It mounts to any Picatinny rail, has a pressure switch option for approximately $20 additional, and has the same Streamlight reliability reputation that makes the TLR-1 the correct handgun call. Do not buy the $30 lights you will find on Amazon. Lights fail at the worst possible moments. The failure rate on no-name tactical lights is genuinely unacceptable for a defensive application. Weapon lights budget, approximately $260 for both platforms. Chapter 7. Tier 6. Holster and Carry System. The handgun is useless if you cannot carry it safely and access it quickly. The holster is the mechanism that makes the handgun a real part of your defensive system rather than something you grab off a table. For the Shield Plus, the Vetter Light Tuck IWB holster, at approximately $60 is the most consistently recommended budget option among serious carry instructors. It is a Kydex shell molded to the exact dimensions of the pistol, retains the firearm positively without a separate engagement mechanism, and has a comfort wing that pulls the grip inward for reduced printing. For vehicle carry, a magnetospeed or Hornady rapid vehicle safe, a biometric or RFID activated gun vault that mounts under a seat or in a center console, runs approximately $80 to $100 and allows quick access without creating an unsecured firearm in a vehicle environment. Do not ignore the vehicle storage question. A firearm in a vehicle that is left unsecured is one broken window away from becoming a criminal tool. The vehicle safe is not optional. Holster and carry system budget, approximately $140 to $160. Chapter 8. Tier 7. Defensive medical gear. This is the chapter that makes gun people uncomfortable, which is deeply irrational. If you are serious about defensive preparedness, understand that the vast majority of deaths in firearm incidents are not immediate. They are survivable if someone intervenes within the first 5 to 10 minutes with the right tools. Tourniquet application, wound packing, airway management, a basic IFAK built around the North American Rescue Cat Gen 7 tourniquet, and quick clot hemostatic gauze is the standard. A complete wound packing kit from North American Rescue or Dark Angel Medical that includes both plus gloves, a chest seal, and a trauma bandage runs approximately $80 to $90 total. This gear keeps someone alive until EMS arrives. It serves you equally well in car accidents and industrial emergencies. It is not optional. IFAK budget, approximately $90. Chapter 9. Tier 8. Storage and security. The last category is the one that closes the loop on responsibility. A firearm accessible to an unauthorized person is a liability, period. The entire defensive logic of this setup collapses if the security piece is not addressed. For quick access handgun storage, the Hornady Rapid Safe Night Guard runs approximately $110 to $120, mounts to a nightstand, and allows biometric or RFID bracelet access in approximately 1 to 2 seconds. Fast enough for any realistic nighttime scenario. For the rifle, the stack-on 8-gun cabinet runs approximately $100 to $120 and provides meaningful security against opportunistic theft. A real gun safe from Liberty or American Security is the correct long-term answer at $800 to $2,000. For this budget, the stack-on is what fits, and it is meaningfully better than nothing. Storage budget, approximately $220 to $240 total. Chapter 10. The full budget breakdown. Let us put this together. Handgun, Smith & Wesson M and P9 Shield Plus with 2 additional magazines, $550. Rifle, Ruger. AR-556 with 4 mag pull. PMAG 30 magazines, $586. Optic, Holosun 403C with mount, $210. Weapon lights, Streamlight TLR 1HL for handgun, and ProTac rail, mount HLX for rifle, $260. Training ammunition, 500 rounds 9mm and 500 rounds 5.56 NATO, $170. Defensive ammunition, Federal HST 9mm and Federal Gold Medal 5.56, $150. Holster and carry system including vehicle safe, $150. IFE key and medical gear, $90. Storage solution, quick access handgun safe and rifle cabinet, $230. The total comes to $1,996, $4 under budget. If you are in a state without magazine capacity restrictions, that number holds. If you are in California or New York, some substitutions are required for compliant configurations, and a local FFL dealer familiar with your state's laws is the correct resource for that conversation. Chapter 11. The order of purchase. The order matters as much as the list. If you cannot do this all at once, which is the situation for most people, here is the correct acquisition sequence. First month, handgun, 1 extra magazine, holster, 100 rounds of training ammunition, 50 rounds of defensive ammunition. Immediately functional for the environment where you actually spend your time. Total approximately $650. Second month, IFAK. Always before the rifle. You can need medical gear before you ever need a long gun. $90, third month. Rifle, 4 magazines. Sling. A 2-point sling from Blue Force Gear or VTAX runs $40 to $50 and frees your hands without losing the rifle. $630 total. Fourth month. Optic, rifle light, mount, $260. Fifth month. Remaining ammunition, handgun light, vehicle safe, storage solution, approximately $550. 5 months. Correct order. Full system. Chapter 12. The training question. No video about building a defensive firearms setup is complete without an honest conversation about training, because the hard truth is this. The equipment means nothing without competence. A handgun with which you have not shot 500 documented rounds, including from concealment under various stress simulations, is not a defensive tool. It is a false confidence generator. The minimum baseline for defensive competence on a handgun, according to almost every serious defensive firearms instructor, is approximately 1,000 rounds of deliberate practice. Not casual range trips. Deliberate practice with a structure, with feedback, with measurable standards. A 1-day defensive pistol course from a credentialed instructor, certified through USCCA, the NRA Defensive Shooting Curriculum, or a private academy with documented law enforcement or military credentials runs approximately $150 to $300. It compresses months of self-directed learning into 8 hours of structured feedback. If you are working with this budget and training is not in it, you need to restructure. Take $75 to $100 out of the ammunition budget for the first month and put it toward a 1-day course. The instruction will make your ammunition practice dramatically more efficient. Dry fire practice is free. A laser training cartridge from Mantis or Strikeman runs approximately $30 to $60 and allows you to practice trigger control, draw stroke, and target acquisition at home without ammunition. It is not a replacement for live fire, but it is genuinely effective for building the muscle memory that live fire then reinforces. Train. Not just buy. Train. Chapter 13. What the more expensive stuff actually gets you. This video has been built around a $2,000 budget, and that is a real constraint that deserves respect. But honesty requires acknowledging what you are giving up at this price point compared to a $5,000 build. The Aimpoint Comp M5 at $950 is objectively better than the Holosun 403C at $200. The M5 has documented reliability across temperature extremes and submersion profiles the Holosun has not been tested to. In a controlled home defense environment, the Holosun is sufficient. A Daniel Defense DDM4 at $1,400 has tighter tolerances, a better barrel, and reliability under sustained fire profiles the Ruger has not been tested to. For competitive shooting or high round count applications, the premium is justified. For civilian defensive use, the Ruger is sufficient. A Surefire X 300U-A at $240 is more durable and better sealed than the Streamlight TLR1 at $125. For law enforcement professionals under daily operational stress, the Surefire is worth it. For civilian defensive use, the Streamlight is genuinely excellent. The pattern is consistent. Budget options are sufficient for the threat environment most civilian gun owners actually face. Premium options earn their cost in demanding professional applications. Know your context and spend accordingly. Chapter 14. The mindset behind the system. There is one final thing to address before this video closes. People watch videos like this one for different reasons. Some are genuinely interested in defensive preparedness. Some are enthusiasts who love the gear. Some are in uncertain circumstances and looking for a specific answer to a specific concern. Whatever your reason, the mindset that makes this system functional is not aggression. It is not paranoia. It is not the desire to find a situation where you have to use any of this. The mindset that makes this system functional is the same one that drives every other preparedness decision in a responsible adult's life. You are not hoping for fire when you install smoke detectors. You are not hoping for a collision when you wear your seatbelt. You are acknowledging that the world contains things you cannot fully control, that your ability to protect the people you are responsible for matters, and that preparation beats the alternative. $2,000 spent correctly in the right order, backed by genuine training and a commitment to using these tools only in the circumstances the law recognizes as lawful. That is a responsible decision. That is what this video has been about. If you found this breakdown useful, leave a comment and tell me where you are in this build. Starting from zero. Already have the handgun and working toward the rifle. Been in this hobby for years and watching to see if we got anything wrong. That conversation is the point. Take care of yourselves, stay safe, do your research locally before any purchase. See you in the next one.